Hello YouTube! This is my reading wrap-up for the month of September, in which I did not read very many books. I read 3. I finished 3 books over the course of September. This was a low month for me. I think this is the least number of books I have read in a month all year. I had a lot of things happening to me all at once in September. Just a number of things, and it kept me from reading. Also, I wasn't in a reading slump, but I was definitely in a start a bunch of books and don't finish them kind of mood this month, so I'll get to that at the end of the video and let you know all the books that I'm in the middle of reading. But in the meantime, let me just tell you what I actually did read. So the first book that I read in September was the first book that I finished reading was Vivian at the End of the World. This was a book that I purchased because it was 99 cents, like the ebook was 99 cents, and I like having a book that I can read like on my lunch break at work, or if I'm in line for something, I like just kind of having a book that I'm reading on my phone. So this was the book that I chose for that, and I had heard about this book on BookTube. Someone had recently read this book and said that it was really cool, and so I gave it a shot. I really liked the premise. So the premise of this book is that there is the rapture that has been predicted, and there's a bunch of believers, and this book is in the point of view of a girl who is not a believer, but her parents are, and all of the non-believers are, you know, really excited to see another rapture come and go and have all the believers look dumb. But then a bunch of people disappear. Vivian finds her parents' room to see 2 smoking circles on the ground and holes in the ceiling. And then the book is kind of like, did the rapture happen? Is the predicted apocalypse in 6 months also gonna happen? What is going on? And so I really appreciated that premise, and I was very excited about it. And I really enjoyed the first third of this book, and then it went in this really weird direction. It had a romantic element that I found to be really unbelievable, because when it's the end of the world, potentially, I just don't think that the main character would have been so wrapped up in if this boy liked her. I find that to be kind of tedious, and the plot just ended up being really kind of predictable. I kind of feel like it was very heavy-handed. Felt like it was very anti-conservative propaganda, and I'm a liberal. I am a very liberal, but I just felt like it was very heavy-handed in its messaging, and so I enjoyed about a third of the book. I enjoyed the premise, but I didn't actually really enjoy the way that it panned out. The next book that I finished in September was, finally, The Knife of Never Letting Go, book 1 of the Chaos Walking trilogy by Patrick Ness. This is a book that I've had for a while. I actually started reading this book in July, and something made me just take a really long time to read it, but I finally just sort of buckled down and finished it, and I loved it. I loved this book. I thought that it was so unique, and I thought that it was written very subtly, which I really appreciate in young adult fiction. I loved the main character. I loved the relationship between the two, the 2 main characters. I loved the relationship that he had with his dog. I appreciated just the mania of the villains. This book was just great, and I immediately picked up the second book. The last book that I managed to finish in September, this one I actually really breezed through. So I read Not a Drop to Drink by Mindy McGinnis. I have the physical copy of the book, but I actually listened to this one on audiobook, and I thought that the narrator for this book was fantastic. I just loved it. I've had a really busy week, and I've spent a lot of time on public transportation, and I've just been listening to this book on my phone when I'm on the bus, and it's just been really great. This again is another book that I felt was very subtle, that I think that it was not afraid to take bold moves that some YA fiction shies away from. I appreciated the way that romance was done in this book. I was surprised again and again by things that this book did. The premise of this book is, I'm not sure exactly, it's set in the future when there's not a lot of water and people have sort of moved out. People have sort of moved outward to the country to find their own water source because things are really bad in the city. And so this book is about a girl named Lynn and her mother who have been by themselves in this house with this little pond for a very long time, and sort of the way that they interact with anyone who comes near them, and what happens when some other people move in closer to them, and how they have to deal with that. And I don't really know how to explain why I like this book so much, but it was really good. I found it really compelling. I love the characters, and it was beautifully written. So that is it right now for what I've read in September. What I'm currently reading, I am, as I said, a little bit of a ways into the Ask and the Answer, which is book 2 of the Chaos Walking series trilogy by Patrick Ness. I'm already in love with this book and the changes that have been made between the first book and the second book. There's a bit of dual narration in this one, which I think is done very well. I'm also listening to the audiobook of the second book in the series called In a Handful of Dust, which surprisingly takes place much further into the future than I had expected and anticipated, which was shocking right away, but now I'm into it and I like it. I'm also reading, what else am I reading right now? I started a book on Kindle called, I've been in a spooky book mood. I'm really excited to read a couple of, over here in the darker section, there's a lot of scary books over here. I'm very excited to read some of these for October. In fact, the ones that I'm very excited to read and I will hopefully be reading this month are Welcome to the Dark House by Lori Faria Stolars, which this book looks really interesting, and I'm really looking forward to buddy reading this with my friend Jen. And also I have A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness. I'm definitely on a Patrick Ness kick right now, and this has won a number of awards, so I want to read this. And also, of course, I immediately went out and bought Library of Souls, which is the 3rd book in the Miss Peregrine series. And I haven't started this yet, but I will be starting this very soon. So a lot of scary books on the horizon for me. I'm gonna be reading some scary books and hopefully getting all the way through the Chaos Walking series, and that's about it for me. Let me know what you're looking forward to reading this month. Let me know if October makes you want to read scary books. I've been watching scary stuff and I've been reading scary stuff. October just always does this to me, and in general I kind of like creepier, darker stuff when it comes to books in general. So let me know which scary books you're hoping to read and if this time of year gets you in the mood for that kind of stuff like it does for me. And also, of course, let me know if you've read any of the books that I talked about in today's video. That's it. Thank you guys for watching. I will be back soon with another video. I'll see you next time. Bye!